Hey guys, PKT here. I'm back with another video for my BandLab graduates. Last time I showed you guys how to navigate FL. Today, I'm going to show you how to make music in FL. So as always, firstly, you want to start out in TuneBat. I just have this beat here. I'm going to put it in. Like I said, you need this for every time you record. It's going to tell you the key and BPM. I will tell you this though, a little cheat I like to do, because sometimes TuneBat gets it wrong. Sometimes it gets the key either wrong or gets the BPM wrong. And sometimes these producers just don't like to put that information in the description. So what I usually like to do outside of this, I also check it on BandLab. I'll go in BandLab, open up a new project, I'll put in the beat, and it'll usually tell you the BPM, and it's either going to be about the same or it's going to be different. I mean, sometimes BandLab could be wrong too, but like either way, it's good to, double check. And so yeah, on to opening up FL and getting started. Alright, so now I'm in FL. I put the beat in, I connected my auto-tune, we're going to connect my mic in here. I'm using my earphones, the same stuff I was using when I recorded on BandLab, so honestly quality is probably going to be so-so, but usually make up for that with the effects. But usually when I do my auto-tune, I usually like to do retune speed at 0, and I usually do humanize around 10. Just helps me out, gets things more accurately, at least for me. Alright, so we know that the key of this beat was G minor. Now, I honestly don't know if I'll be able to perform. I probably should be able to. I've used this beat in the past, and honestly, I want to redo this song, so it's basically the whole point of doing this video. Alright, so I'm going to record some vocals, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys the vocals. I also cut down the beat a little bit so you could hear it better. I'm going to do all this stuff with the effects and all that afterwards, but first, just want you to hear what it's going to sound like, just your raws, basically.
I've been broken down. I've been broken. When you're not around, you're not here. Now I'm lying down across the bedroom. Can't you lie now? I can see you.
Alright, so after that, you're going to want to go and start adding your effects. Order, at least for the start, does kind of matter, because these things are basically going to shape and basically just clean up the vocal is what these are really about. So first thing, you have the limiter here. Use this for the noise gate right here. You can figure with this yourself, or you can go up into the preset right here and they have a noise gate preset, and you can also just configure it that just to get it to your liking to fit your own voice. After that, you want to have an EQ. What I usually do is I go to the first band right here, and then I just do a high pass. Scoot this over to 80 hertz. That's just to cut out all the rumble. And also you can configure all the other bands and stuff afterwards, but that's just the bass I always do at the start. And then next up after that, that's when I put in a compressor, the threshold, the ratio. I usually do a ratio of about 4. Gain, that's just adding extra volume. Type, you don't really need to worry about that too much. And attack and release, you can honestly leave these, but you can also just configure them. Like I said, guys, I'm learning on the job, so you'll definitely get more in-depth stuff in the future when I have it all tapped in. And then basically at this point is when I start adding the real effects I use in most of the stuff. So my reverb, and I usually size that up pretty high, or you could just leave at the bass. The bass is pretty decent. And then after that, you want to have some saturation. I got Fresh Air recently, so I've been using that. And you can just, configure this however you need it to be. I usually go, probably around a 40 here and a 50 here. Maybe I'm not even doing this right. I just do things just so I can hear them. But, yeah. That's really just it for the effects. There's more stuff you can do after this. You can have a parallel chain, and, you can side chain your reverb and delays so that you have more control over it. But this is really just, most of the stuff that I do, at least for a bass. So I'm going to show you what all that sounds like. Alright, so this is the final product. I did add a couple things later down the mix. I was just messing around, experimenting with the sounds and stuff, but basically that is almost everything you're going to need, at least for now, for the start. I don't really have too many plugins. The only things I spent money on, was auto-tune and a mic mod, and that's really it. Everything else is either a stock plugin or a plugin that you can get for free. So basically, this is what you're going to get after all that. I've been broken down.
Don't you I can see you.
And yeah, so basically that's kind of the sound you're gonna get. I wasn't really aiming for anything specific yet. You know, once I get a better grasp of, mixing and all that other stuff, and I can like replicate sounds better, I'll probably give you guys some like tutorials, maybe some preset tutorials, but most likely not. It's stuff you guys can learn on your own, and honestly, I'm just here to help you out, navigate and make music. So yeah, that's really it. I'll see you guys next time.